Hello wonderful viewers, welcome back to our channel where we delve into the fascinating world of crystals and their metaphysical properties. Today we're talking about, what to do when a crystal just isn't working for you. We'll explore the reasons for this, how it happens, how to recognise when a crystal actually might be ready to move on. If you're new, hi, and if you're as intrigued by the magic of crystals as we are, make sure to like, subscribe and hit the notification bell for more enlightening content. I'm Shamara, and these insights come from years of conversations with customers and our own trial and error moments with our beloved crystal friends. We've all been there, buying a crystal that later we realised wasn't meant for us, or finding ourselves wanting to let one go despite enjoying it for years. Before we discuss the moving on process, let's think about the positives you have enjoyed with your crystal friends. First of all, even if you're not into crystal energy, you've loved their natural beauty. They really are Mother Nature's masterpieces. Next, if you do believe in their healing power, then you've felt their support across the mental, emotional, physical and spiritual levels of your being. Of course, there's also been the benefit that crystals are resilient, very long lasting, maybe even forever. And sure, some might get damaged over time with handling and natural processes, but they still work. Most crystals even increase in value over time depending on their age, quality, condition and rarity. But of course this video is about the time when you feel drawn to let a crystal go, or it feels like it is saying it wants to leave you. Why might this happen? Well, let's look at a few common reasons. Firstly, you might feel pressure or guilt about owning a crystal. Maybe someone said all they do is gather dust, or they're a waste of money, or even it's not right to have them, and give you religious or philosophical reasons. So I'm not going to go into this deeply, but just remember, people can make suggestions for you to assess, and it could be helpful to have another point of view, even a conflicting one. However, please, once you've made your assessment, it's your life, your beliefs and your decisions that are important. Still, I would say if you're overspending on crystals, it's worth pausing to reflect on why. So anyway, another reason that it seems a crystal needs to move on can be that you were persuaded into buying one, maybe by a friend, a persistent shop assistant, a celebrity, yet didn't really check in with your own intuition, and once you got it home, it didn't feel right. Yeah, we had a few people tell us that. Perhaps it was a gift, an inheritance. And one of the common things here is that it's actually holding on to the previous person's energy, their purpose, not yours. So that actually could be the reason it's not feeling comfortable to be around you. And of course, we've got a video about cleansing a crystal so it works better. So then you might have had a crystal for a while. And the reason it no longer resonates with you is that, well, you've grown, you've shifted consciousness, and it's like the relationship between you and the crystal has come to just a natural conclusion. And finally, maybe the crystal gave you exactly what you needed just for half an hour. Yes, you connected to it deeply during that time and bought it, but then you never felt drawn to use it again once it was home. Why would you need a crystal for such a short time? Well, the problem will occur if you've been inaccurate in how you've questioned your intuition or your guidance about the connection to the crystal. You probably asked, do I need it? And got yes. But here's the thing, needing it doesn't always mean buying it. Let's get back to the main topic. What do you need to do when a crystal feels like it needs to move on? And the first obvious question is it energetically dirty? So start by giving the crystal a good cleanse and a recharge. If it's holding stagnant or negative energy, well, that could be what's making you feel uncomfortable around it, and therefore you're not meant to keep it, is what you're thinking. If after a clean it's feeling good, well, it's easy, that was all it was. The next thing becomes, well, is it the ego sending a false message? Ask yourself as you're holding it, is this desire to let the crystal or crystals go coming from my ego or from my soul? Sometimes the ego says, let's declutter, get rid of the crystals, when what it really means is, let's put a hold on personal growth and these crystals are a threat. Over the years, we met many people who didn't realise this, and they'd given away beautiful crystal collections only to regret it years later when they were called to work with the crystals again. So please, check deeply within yourself whether it is purely noise from a shadow aspect affecting your ego, or is it a genuine nudge from your soul to, well, pack them away maybe. Not give them away, but pack them away, because it's only a temporary matter. You'll need them again 5-10 years down the track. If you really, really meant to give them away permanently, ask it. Is it a permanent giveaway? So here's a process to help you decide if it is the ego's sabotage. Wait until you're calm, you're energetically clean and you're centered. Hold the crystal. Let it know that you're considering moving it on. Feel your body. What sensations or emotions are coming up. Sense a crystal's response. And if you're feeling hesitation or fear or sadness, ask why. This is usually because it really hasn't completed its work with you yet. So in which case it is the ego getting in the way of the crystal aiding you and your spiritual development. And I've personally had this happen when I was about to give away a crystal. My ego said, definitely let it go. And it was very hard for me to connect into a deeper level. So I did the process. And so I went within and I discovered that behind my ego's voice was a shadow aspect that was resisting transformation. It was sending negative messages out. And once I recognized that, the crystal was in fact stirring up these past life memories that needed to go. So it was actually helping me, the crystal. And then the crystal was able to give me further insights, and I was able to transform those shadow aspects. Yes, that crystal is still helping me today, 20 years on. If you did let a crystal go too early, we all do it, we get confused. Don't worry. We certainly had customers who were brought back to the shop by their guidance and they had to go buy a replacement. So what about if you're getting a yes and no about keeping it? If you're not getting a clear answer that you're content with, maybe the crystal just needs a new purpose, and this is why the confusing message. This happens because your original intention for it has resolved, or your intention changed, and you forgot to check in after you made that change to see, well, what crystals needed to be shifted to. So ask the crystal, what is its new purpose? And even if you don't have a purpose for it now, there are plenty of things it will be happy to do in the meanwhile. Create or add it to your home's crystal grid. Create or add it to an altar with other crystals, and ask the group to maybe send love and healing to a family member who needs help, to a charity, to a global cause. And don't forget to also check in with that crystal jewelry that you don't seem to be wearing at the moment. They'd love to have a purpose too. They'd happily go on those altars until you're ready to use them again. So point 4 in the process is, if you're sure it's time to move your crystal on, ask your guidance where it should go next. Maybe there is someone who would love it and benefit from it, especially if they can't afford crystals themselves. And children are often grateful recipients. Consider gifting it to a charity, to a crystal-loving business that's starting up, or healing centres. These are all great options. And sometimes people feel the need to return their crystal to Mother Nature, placing it in a river, a lake, even burying it in a park where Mother Nature can then use it to help heal the land or assist the local community. The 5th step is, if you decide to sell your crystal, well, do a little research on retail prices, but be realistic about how much you can ask. Consider selling it to friends on platforms like Etsy and Facebook Marketplace. Know that crystal shops will usually not pay much, as they still have to add a markup on them when they resell. Step 6, well, time to prepare your crystal for its new home. If you want to build a connection with crystals, then it's important you respect them, just like we're learning to respect animals and the plants. Wisdom of native peoples, where they asked us to remember that we're connected to all of nature, is no longer considered stupid or weird like it was when I was young, as science is now backing up a lot of those claims. So go about creating a farewell ceremony that is beautiful for you and for the crystal. Firstly, thank it for being with you, even if the time together was short. Cleanse it thoroughly and release any programming that you have placed in it, any intentions. Next, recharge it with fresh energy and bless it for its next chapter of purpose. If you're unsure of how to do this, well, simply ask the crystal guides to bless it for you, and you just hold it while you feel the energy coming in, flowing through you and into the crystal. And so finally, a few tips as I wrap up this video. Don't stress about gifting a chipped or broken crystal. Most people will still appreciate it. If the damage bothers you, a local lapidary club might be able to reshape or repolish it, and that possibly is enough for your ego to say, oh, now I can keep it. And that's it. I hope this gives you clarity and confidence in recognizing when a crystal is ready to move on and how to do so with grace. If this resonated with you, please be sure to like, leave me a comment, subscribe, and of course share. The next time you're working with one of your crystal friends, how about giving it a kiss for its love and support to you?